Yeah.
Say that again. I ruined it. Interrupted it.
Democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding on what's for lunch. A republic is a well-armed sheep contesting the vote.
And republics aren't invulnerable like the Republican oligarchy.
And both of those neither are nor. That's not what they are. It's just a saying some old fucking dude said one time. What? Okay. I don't know. Why do they have one of these things? I had one of those in my room when I was like 12, with a bunch of black lights because I thought I was edgy.
Of Rome was eventually the military commander just took it over and turned it into
which
an
is
empire.
Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, but it was treason already trying to overthrow the Republic that forced him to do that. I'm not defending Julius Caesar, but it's what I'm saying. People say, well, General Flynn said we need martial law, and Lynn Wood said we need martial law. And people are like, oh my God, I'm not for martial law, but we're already under blue state, blue city martial law.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. And so this is something we were actually talking about like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Who brought that up? They were like, was it Will who said we're already under martial law? I was like, you get these, isn't it? It's crazy to hear people calling
these
for
updates
this.
on your phone telling you what to do. Don't go outside your house. It's outside regular law. Regular law is suspended. Yeah.
I don't know what fucking state these guys live in, but we're definitely not under martial law. Martial law is usually when the military is in charge and telling you what to do. It usually happens during war times. Getting an update on your phone about COVID-19 or the effectiveness of masks on Instagram is not martial law, you insane weirdos.
Regular
the
law.
First Amendment to the Constitution, people know about freedom of speech and religion. It says the right to peaceably assemble.
Yep.
It doesn't say why.
Yeah, it says if I could get together with people. There's nothing more peaceful than a holiday dinner with your family, or maybe it's less peaceful.
Well, it says Congress shall make no law.
Yeah.
Respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise
I know,
thereof,
right?
or the
These
people's
history
right to peacefully
professors
assemble,
here.
or the press, or of all
So
that.
you have no right
It's
to
all
lock
that.
me
The
down.
government does not have a goddamn jurisdiction.
Right. And they're just completely brazenly ignoring that.
I'll tell you.
I'm sorry. If the government can just say, well, it's an emergency, so we can do whatever we want.
I don't even know who this guy is. I've never seen him before. I don't know if he's like Alex's new lackey. Can't really keep up with Alex Jones anymore because he's like on the dark web somewhere talking about gay frogs or something. But I don't know who this guy is.
Then what the heck's the point of the Constitution?
It's like
at
a
all?
man raping
Right,
a woman.
exactly.
A man does not,
What?
or a woman raping a man, or a man raping a man. You don't have jurisdiction. You have to agree to it. And so literally, this is like...
Wait, what? Is he comparing like COVID guidelines to rape? I mean, that's what? I don't really get the I mean, yeah, I get. I don't. That seems a little off base. Got Joe Rogan in the background there, creepily staring at us.
like rape. When they say you don't have a right to go out, but we do, and then they exercise their rights and we don't, they're doing that on purpose. This is rape.
I think the first and most important thing for people to understand too is it's against the science. It's the World Health
Well, that's not true. It's not against the science. Well, let's let him finish that thought.
Organization's top doctor came out a while ago and said is the last of last resorts, and it should be avoided, and it can be avoided.
The head UN envoy said,
That's not true. That's not true. It's not what the... That's what Trump said. Trump said the same thing. That's not true. What the head of the UN envoy and the WHO both said about lockdowns, which is what they're talking about. What he said about lockdowns is they're not meant to be like a cure-all. They're supposed to be one of many tools, and it should be kind of a last resort in a way of, we want to do other things for social distance, masks. Effectively, lockdowns are meant to be like kind of a reset. Like you lock everybody down, you prepare your hospitals, you staff up, you do things like that. And then, that way your hospitals don't get overrun, things like that. The way the lockdown was supposed to help us was get the country prepared for what was about to happen, put in guidelines, get out information. Instead, what we did is we made it this political battle where you're on the left if you wear masks, and you're on the right, if you love freedom and hate masks or whatever. And Trump made it hyper political. And instead of, getting the country ready, Jared Kushner decided to try and not give aid to blue states so he could just pawn it off on blue states and say they're the reason that we have the COVID. There's a really good article in Vanity Fair about this. It was a while ago that I read it, but yeah, Jared, this like was a plan of theirs. So instead of working together with the states and getting things prepared during the lockdown, we just didn't do anything. But saying that that's not what the UN or the UN guy or the WHO said about lockdowns. They never said Trump was right. They said that they are a tool of, of getting things back to normal, basically, and you shouldn't just do it, willy-nilly, basically.
Lockdowns, we were wrong. It's starving millions. And even Melinda Gates came out yesterday and said, we didn't know this would cause a collapse in millions starving.
272 million are expected to starve to death in the third world in the next year
and
because of the economic
fact check
collapse.
that, YouTube. I was saying that 10 months ago. So when I'm telling...
Yeah, but that's not... okay, first of all, they're talking about countries like Zimbabwe and stuff, and that's... People are starving over there already to start with, and that's an effect of lockdowns because of the supply chains that it's interrupting. The solution to that actual problem would be to fund it properly and give aid. Instead, we're doing the exact opposite of that. So you have to pair. You can't just lock down or do one thing. You have to pair the lockdown with proper economic aid. And that's where we fucked up. Not in the locking down part, but in the economic aid part. And we need to come together as a society and properly fund these type of things to help, especially in third world countries. I mean, they're hanging on by a thread as it is. Millions of people die over there for no reason. So when things like this happen, there's obviously going to be more casualties, but not locking down and letting more people die is definitely not the answer.
Telling you is the lockdown, whether it's real or exaggerated, whatever it is causing, because in the first world, okay, we lose our pension or you don't have as big a house, or maybe you lose a few pounds. In the third world, a breakdown and a lockdown causes starvation and death. So when the West goes into depression, the third world dies. And we're talking about real Black Lives Matter here, and in other lives all over the world, poor people are starving to death right now.
Was it in, I think it was Mali or some...
As opposed to fake Black Lives Matter? What does that mean exactly? What is the fake Black Lives Matter? It's not that anybody doesn't care about those third world countries. It's that we have to take steps to everyone has to take the proper steps to keep their own population safe. But at the same time, we have to help fund these other efforts and, food donations, things like that, to help other countries get through. God damn it.
African country, Malawi, one of those two, where they were said, all right, you're going to have a lockdown. Even though they had no COVID, and they go, if we don't farm today, we don't have food tomorrow. Like,
That's a good saying. If we don't farm today, we have no food tomorrow.
I don't know if they were...
If we don't farm today, we die today, they said.
They weren't using it as a...
By the way, these guys that claim to care so much about these third world countries are the same people that want us to have 20-year processes on letting immigrants in. Maybe if we, let a few more of these refugees in, we'd have less of an issue on that front. But instead, you guys want to scream at your listeners how all brown and black people from other countries are coming here and spreading diseases and are killers and all this. And you wonder why people are anti-immigrant, and that's one of the biggest issues is that they don't want people to migrate here, but now they're trying to act like, oh, we care so much about these third worlds. It's like bullshit. You're only saying that because it kind of fits into the narrative you're trying to twist. Yeah. Oh, BLM, but only in the third world countries. Exactly.
I don't know if they're as pithy as me because
No, the quote was, "If we don't farm, we'll die within a month."
It, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But it's an interesting saying that could apply in any form.
But
of
let me stop interrupting because I've sped this up. Start over, Tim. You start over. The New York Times, the Washington Post admit 1 billion people set to go into total poverty, possible starvation, 2 million already starved to death, 200-something million, I forget the exact number, are on the verge of starvation because of the lockdown, not the damn virus that's only killed 1 million worldwide. So let's talk about that.
Can I go full Alex Jones?
No, but I mean...
It's killed 1.6 as of now. We're expected to reach 400,000 in the next... by the end of in the next 3 months, I think we're supposed to be at 400,000 deaths. So yeah, that's scary. And a study in, I think it was a study in the UK showed that lockdowns saved 3 million lives over there, just over there. And that study came out in like July. We had a study, if we had a lockdown, and that was back in May, if we would have locked down a week earlier, they found that we would have saved 40,000 lives. So this notion that lockdowns didn't help at all is bullshit. It would have helped a lot more if we would have used it properly. And about 135 million people or so die over in those countries every year from starvation. So maybe, stop using their fucking tragedy to fit your narrative.
No,
Tim was
perhaps.
I interrupted.
I mean,
Again, 100,000 people are watching this, just fucking soaking it in. Look at the comments. I had somebody point out in my chat. Look, war, civil war incoming. Fucking God, man.
I'm going to go full Alex Jones. I'm sure you've been talking about this before, and you're not the first. There has been for decades beating the drums for having full-scale wealth distribution from the first world to the third world. This has been a thing that they've been arguing for a very long time. We need to jack up taxes in Europe.
That's globalism.
America.
That's the Great Reset.
Right. And now they're
Goddamn
globalism.
globalism.
Look, all these people are
But
starving.
they're not really going to give them anything.
I know, but this is a great this is a great excuse.
Oh, you're right.
What, you don't want these people in Africa? You want them to be starving?
Michael,
because
the
of this
Pope is
disease?
pushing that. This is it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and make your points.
That was
my point. I agree.
Let's just get this.
Pope Francis is on board with the massive multinational billion-dollar corporations for the Great Reset.
But let me start over because this is so important. Now,
Okay, I don't know if you guys know what the Great Reset is, but it's a bullshit conspiracy. First of all, this is the Alex Jones show featuring Tim Pool. Like, Alex Jones is totally just taken over the set here, which I think is funny. But the Great Reset is such a horseshit thing. You want to know what they got mad at the Pope about? By the way, the Pope endorsed universal basic income, which is a very progressive, good policy if implemented right. I have a few issues with how Andrew Yang said he wanted to implement it, but it's a good policy, if you pair it with other things. But here's the Great Reset basically is a theory that what the World Economic Forum came out with like a plan that all their favorite boogeymen signed on to about, basically investing more in like renewable energy and building back better. I don't know if you've heard that, but building back a better economy after this, global catastrophe that we've had. And they've somehow turned that into a crazy conspiracy that the globalists are gonna, take over our lives. This is what they got to help our society to build back better. That he said that, and that's what they got worried about. To help our society to build back better, inclusion of the vulnerable must also entail efforts to promote their active participation. That is what they said. That is what they're talking about right now, that they got so upset about.
I wasn't even going to go here because it's so serious, but because I wanted to have a lighthearted thing about UFOs and stuff. But start over. You can pull this up and fact check this because I don't want to get the numbers wrong. The UN.
How many times have he said, all right, we're going to start over now. Start over. Aliens, start over.
It was like 200 in YouTube. I don't have a perfect memory. Like 230-something million people.
272.
272 are about to starve to death. 2 million already starved to death the last 10 months. Was what I read in the New York Times.
2 million?
Yeah, like a week ago I read it. Who knows if that's real? The point is that I know folks who are in the third world. It's bad. Like you said, I mean, it's bad. These lockdowns are bad. So I'm saying if it kills 100 times more people having a lockdown, we need to stop this. I mean, and this is what kills the whole Malthusian lockdown.
And that's very globally, ethically thinking of you, right? Being concerned about how these other countries are faring because of what they're doing in these countries, right? I'm saying it's.
No, I agree. They're humans. So it's
if we want This is the thing. We often hear that these people, with like the Great Reset, which is published on the World Economic Forum website, they're like, we're going to rethink capitalism and redo this to make it better for everybody because for too long, this, that, and this, and the bad things. If I actually,
ladybugs,
like, I don't actually believe these people when they say they're trying to do the right thing, because
They're doing right by them.
exactly, and it's an excuse. When the Pope comes out and says MasterCard and Visa and these big companies are going to redo capitalism the right way, I'm like, they're the ones who have exploited it with crony corporatism and revolving door politics.
Yeah, that's true. But the Pope didn't say that. That's not what he said at all. And you're right to an extent that the people that got us in this mess should not be, probably shouldn't be at the helm redoing the way we think about our society and capitalism and how we create a better society. But the plan, the Build Back Better plan on its face is not an issue. Like, kind of the whole thing started, the Republican Canadian Party, after Justin Trudeau signed on to this thing. It's got all the boogeymen. It's got, Joe Biden has endorsed it, Justin Trudeau. So after Justin Trudeau endorsed it, and it's got the World Economic Forum at the forefront, so all that is like just like thirst material for conspiracy theorists. But they basically Justin Trudeau signed on to it, and then the Republican Party, basically the Republican Party in Canada, they started a petition telling people to sign on if they don't want the globalists to take over. Basically some Alex Jones type shit. But it got like 100,000 signatures overnight, and it's kind of blown up from there. It's just a baseless conspiracy theory that this fucking guy who gets 100 million views a month is pushing.
It's like going to Hitler to learn how to fight Nazis.
Hitler killed a lot of Nazis, though.
Well, I guess you're right.
He killed the worst one.
You're in Rome, and he purged his own people. You're right. Okay, touche.
And he killed Hitler.
That's true too.
He did. You're right. Okay,
point.
sorry.
He killed that master Nazi.
The worst one.
It's like going to Stalin to learn how. I don't know.
Stalin killed Nazis too. They were the first ones to
know.
Berlin. Alex, come on, get it together.
was-
Let's go. I thought you were a gorilla.
I wasn't going to the Nazi stuff. I meant it's like going to a fox to learn how to guard a hen house. But I guess
There you go.
There you
actually
go.
go
There
to
you
a
go.
fox to learn how to guard the hen house. Because a fox.
Well,
is the best team.
hold on. I mean, Fox could probably tell you how to
Wait,
guard a
let's
what I'm
wait.
saying.
Let him keep trying till he gets a
God.
good.
No, but he just said it. He just said
But
it.
it's cheating when he.
This is fucking 50 IQ conservative comedy, man. Jesus Christ.
He says it.
They're the worst offenders
Yes.
telling us how they're the moral
Right.
authority, and then in real practice, their lockdown is imploding us and the third world.
They're by the way, their alternative to the other bad people is Donald Trump. So maybe we shouldn't put you in charge of who should be in charge. Just saying.
World for them to consolidate.
I got it. It's like hiring the fox to guard your hen house.
Yes.
Because, truth be told,
It's like
if
hiring
you got a hen
Tim Pool to
house and
give
you hire
you
a fox,
news.
fox is gonna be like, I'll tell you exactly how I broke in. And you're gonna be like, that's a good point. That's what I got to secure. If you hire the fox to guard the hen house and you wake up, you got no hens left, you know exactly why.
So it goes back to the original saying. No, it's the fox. Let's just say this. It's hiring Satan to stop the devil.
I think so. I
mean,
think they are
it's
trying
like
to
they're the
outrange
guys
each
doing
other.
all this, and then we're like, we're going to fix the problems. Their very policies are destroying and killing people, consolidating power. But they go, it's okay.
Did you see the Pineapple Hill video? Pineapple Hill Cafe?
Oh yeah, out of California.
What's this?
This is a woman, and she's outside of her restaurant.
Oh yeah.
She's got this. We've brought up a million times.
By the
but
way,
it's
we've
really-
talked to her. We can air this. She'll let you air it. I mean, we should play it. Go ahead and tell people.
She talks about how they have an outdoor
Go ahead,
dining
Tim,
area.
run
It's like
your
this
show.
big gazebo tent and picnic tables. And
She shows it.
She shows it. The state said unacceptable, can't open. 50 feet away is food services for Hollywood production. Same exact setup, totally okay.
Well, let's be
But
clear.
Hold on.
She separates the tables more. They have these huge tents, 50.
Again, they diagnose the problem kind of, but they totally whiff on the solution. This is why at first, when the first lockdown protests happened, I wasn't too upset about him, because the stimulus packages that we have put together and not put together are not enough to have people sit at home, and you have to fund people's day-to-day lives. If people are going to sit at home and do stuff for the betterment of the country to stop the spread, all that stuff, when we do have to go into lockdown or social distance, you have to fund that properly. And the same thing with small businesses. These guys should be advocating for a safety net for these people, not for them just to blindly open back up and chance it. But that's not what they're advocating for. They're like, well, fuck it. So let's all just go back out, and if we die, we die, and if we don't, we don't. Like, that is not the solution. That is the worst thing you can do. You know, but these people a lot of them are going to lose their businesses because Mitch McConnell and all them fucking cronies in the Senate and the House won't fucking put a stimulus package together. You know, somehow, I'm not sure how, but Australia, Germany, Denmark, Norway, Canada, all these countries are giving people $1,500, $2,000 a month, and they're somehow making it work. I think the highest Germany's unemployment rate was at like 4% because they covered everyone. They're like, all right, listen, you have to go inside for the country, so we're not going to let you lose your job. We did like this dumb half-ass kind of thing. Like, our unemployment rate was like 35% at one point. Germany's was 4%. I mean, do we not see what the problem is there? So you're kind of diagnosing the problem here, Alex, Tim, and the other fucking guy. There's actually 4 people here, but the one guy never fucking talks. But you're so far off on the fucking solution, it's not funny. And then the stuff that can actually help if we are out in the open, like masks and social distancing, stuff like that, you're also anti that. So, you know, you're fucking really screwing the pooch here.
50 feet away, like he said.
What did she say in the video? Everything I own is being stolen from me. The World Economic Forum published a Great Reset video, I think it was 4 years ago.
4 years.
And they said in 2030,
you will own nothing
and you will be happy.
Sorry, you're right.
Yep.
So when we see all of these things that
World Economic Forum, you will own nothing and be happy. Eight predictions for the world 2030. Oh, so it's like it's like a top 10 list. You will own nothing and be happy. Okay, let's see why. Whatever you want, you'll rent, and it'll be delivered by drone. Oh, that's so scary. God, guys. It's almost like they're, right. And, predicting where our society is going. Yeah, that's true. The US won't be the world's leading superpower. Okay. A handful of countries will dominate. Oh shit. The globalists are taking over. The globalists. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. This is oh my god, so scary, guys. We won't transplant organs, we'll print new ones instead. Okay. You'll eat much less meat. Why is this so scary? An occasional treat, not a staple. For the good of the environment and our health. Oh my god, I'm shaking, guys. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change. Yeah, that's fucking true. We'll have to do a better job of welcoming and integrating refugees. Okay. Now we know why it scares them. These two really got them shook. 'Cause, you know, climate change is a myth and brown people are scary, so. According to them. Looters will have to pay in. Oh, yeah, they don't like that either. That scares them. Can't shill for fossil fuels. You could be preparing to go to Mars. Scientists will have worked out how to keep you healthy in space. The start of a journey to find alien life. Well, fuck, this is right up their alley. Most wells have been tested to breaking point. That's fucking true. Checks and balances that underpin our democracy must not be forgotten. Okay. Like, comment, share. Oh, well, it's almost like that wasn't a big fucking deal at all. These fucking people, man.
at the end result is stripping away
Ultimately,
ownership
everything
rights
is borrowed
of the poor.
anyway. Yeah,
But
exactly.
the rich are doing better than ever. Think about
Big
who's
tech's
doing.
making record profit. That's the thing. The middle class is being disenfranchised.
Alright,
The poor is
peace
being
out on
starved to
YouTube.
death.
Yeah.
The third world's
I'm
being
gonna be,
killed.
or
And the
on
people
TikTok
doing it are
there.
going, I'm so liberal. Look, the Pope's on our side. We love you. We're going to lock everything down for a couple more years, all right? And you're like, and when
Wait, aren't they the religious ones? Aren't they the ones that are like, oh, Christ is my savior and all that? Maybe not these two in particular, but all these fucking people in this chat.
everything implodes,
God, look at all this fucking grift money. 50, 50, 50.
we're going to put you all on a universal income and make you take vaccines to get the money.
Do you see what Joe Biden's plan is for COVID?
No.
Is it the crap his pants?
100 days of a mask and
It's basically what we've already been doing.
Yeah, Scott Adams made that point.
Yeah. It's so he's like, if everybody just wear a mask, it'd be done. And it's like, but we've been wearing masks
We're
for
good about it.
10 months.
But their argument is some people didn't follow it. It's their fault. But Sweden has the studies. Other have the studies. Mainline scientists. They go, well, it's not the UN scientists. Well, wait. The UN said lock everything down 10 months ago. They did it. Now the UN says we were wrong.
Again, no, they fucking don't. And a lot of people didn't wear masks, and that was an issue. And Joe Biden's COVID plan is to fund all, and now if he's going to actually get it done, that's a whole nother story. But in the plan, Joe Biden's plan is to fund all of the tests. The tests are going to be free. All the care needed is going to be free. And they're going to fund the vaccine. So basically everything involved around COVID is going to be free at the point of service, which he should be able to do by executive order. I did a video yesterday I did it, but I uploaded it today on TikTok. There's a way that Biden could give everyone Medicare for all, or at least the people that have, been diagnosed or suffered from coronavirus. At least the people that have gotten COVID and their families should be able, by executive order, to have all their medical needs covered. But if he'll actually do that is a different story.
Don't lock things down. It's causing a chain reaction, but still the bureaucracies do it.
Again, it's not what
And
they
then
said.
the other scientists say the masks don't protect you. Well, whether it's true or not, those scientists have a right.
Fucking God. Oh my God. 100,000 people listening to this fucking propaganda, man. Masks 100% are extremely effective. My fucking... Mayo Clinic study finds the effectiveness of masks. This is a study, I did a video about it about a week ago. Mayo Clinic study finds face masks critically important in preventing COVID-19 spread. This is the Rochester Mayo Clinic. This is like the #1 hospital in the world. This is where Sultans and fucking the Versace lady, all kinds of celebrities, they come to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester because it's that good. Sultans from other countries and princes and shit, they rent out entire floors of hotels in downtown Rochester to come here to get medical care. One of my ex-girlfriends used to work at the bar down there, and she would get like huge tips. It was crazy. And like Donatella Versace would leave her stuff. She became like kind of friends with her, and she would leave her like all this expensive shit in the room when she would leave. Anyway, whatever. But okay, so here's this is what they found. They ran a bunch of tests, like these. They like a team of doctors ran a bunch of tests. This is what they found. You can use this study. I'll link it down in the description after I'm done, when I upload the video or when I repurpose the video or whatever. This is no mask, with one person mask, and this was with both people masks. So no mask at 1 foot, you're 100%. 3 foot, 17%. With 6 foot of distance without a mask, you're at 3%. But you can see down here, if both individuals are masked, it's 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. So even at 1 foot of distance, if you go from no masks on both people to both people masked, you have basically a extremely small chance of getting COVID-19. Even with one person masked, you're at a very, very low, you're at a much lower risk of getting COVID-19. And this is one of the best studies I've seen. There's a video that goes along with it that explains everything behind it, how they did the test. It's a great study, and it definitely shows that masks 100% work. So this fucking shithead is lying to 100,000 people willy-nilly.
Right to a voice to say that.
I was told by YouTube that as long as we adhere to what the World Health Organization says, we're good. And if you go against the World Health Organization, you're spreading disinformation. Then a top World Health Organization scientist came out and said lockdowns are bad and we should not do them. So
no, he did not fucking say that. Quit saying that. Ad.
So what am I supposed to say now? Because the governors are doing the opposite of what the World Health Organization.
Any amount of research. God.
Told us to do, and what I'm supposed to be allowed to talk about.
So that's a question to both of you. Why are they? The British came out yesterday. The British government said, "Okay, we're suspending shots for under 16, for pregnant women and people that have any type of allergies, because we're having, Bell's palsy
and it can only be administered in a facility with resuscitation measures readily available."
Wow.
So I'm not, listen, when I tweeted that, I had people calling me an anti-vaxxer, and I'm like, I am tweeting you the NHS's official publicly declared statement to keep people safe.
So that's my next question.
What are you criticizing?
So I'm asking, that's what I'm saying. What's the paradox here? Where they're like, oh, sorry, we've suspended the Australian shots for false positive HIV test, and now, we're suspending.
Okay, a couple things about the Australia stuff. What they are the British and Australia stuff. In Britain, they do a lot of tests and studies about this stuff before they release it. And in Britain, for now, because the data they have on pregnant women getting the vaccine there hasn't been any issues. But they don't feel that they have enough data yet, because again, they want to be very, 100% sure that this is going to be okay for a pregnant woman to take. So they want to do more research on it. So their current guidelines is to wait till after you have the baby to get the shot. And when it comes to children under 18, they just started doing a lot more tests. Again, they're rolling this thing out, and they're doing tests on children, or doing, more studies on children now. But because of the low, the low rate of, severe infection with children, they're not recommending it right now for any child under 18 that's not immunocompromised. If they are immune compromised, they are recommending them to get it. But if you're not, then they basically think right now, just to be on the safe side, that if your parents have it and you don't have it, or if your parents get the vaccine and you're a little kid and you don't get the vaccine, that you will be fine. Just to be on the safe side. Again, the research they have done on it so far has not shown that there's any issues, but they just want to do more research because, they're scientists. Oh, and the Australian HIV positive thing, one of the many vaccines that they studied gave some false they had like 44,000 people in a study, or like 50,000 people in a study, and a few of the people in the study got a false positive for HIV. It didn't like give them HIV or anything. It gave them a false positive for HIV. And out of the dozens of vaccines that they tested, they went ahead and dumped it because they didn't want people to like be scared about it. So they just dumped the vaccine during one of the trials.
getting the shots because it's hurting people, and then we're still full of crap. No, the truth is, vaccines have always had pros and cons. And when you accelerate, my biggest criticism of Trump was him getting on board with warp speed. And going, oh, you want 2 years? I'll do it in 6 months. And now this stuff's killing people. You want to get on Trump's ass? There it is right there. But now the left won't do that. Remember just during the campaign, though, 2 months ago.
Are there actually deaths? I think there's side effects.
Well, no, what they argue is they go, in all these deaths in Europe and the UK and Australia, the big pharma runs it. So they go, well, we had 6 people die in this study and 4 die in that study and 2 die in this study. But we're saying we can't prove they die for the vaccine.
I need hard data on that stuff. Because here's what I can...
You can pull it up. You can pull it up.
Well, I'm glad that Tim finally pushed back on one absurd fucking claim. But what he's talking about is a study that involved... That was the other number I was thinking. There's a study that involved 44,000 people, and 4 did die, but the 4 that died were given the placebo in the study. Like one guy died 63 days after getting the placebo from a heart attack. Now, it's up to you if you want to think that a guy died from a heart attack after getting a placebo 63 days later. If you think that was the reason, sure, but that's not the case. So yeah, that's what Alex is talking about right now. This was like literally a Facebook meme is what he's talking about right now, and it's just such garbage. And this is why, if you want to know why so many people are anti-vax, this is why, because this guy spreads his horse shit like this.
So,
but you can debate that all day.
The important thing is, I think, letting people know the very, very specific
that you're
government statements about anaphylaxis and Bell's palsy. Like, these things are coming from the NHS.
Okay, and again, yeah, 4 people did get Bell's palsy out of the 44,000, but they're not exactly sure if it was because of the vaccine. Again, out of 44,000 people, 4 people developed Bell's palsy at some point after they took the vaccine. And, you know, so they don't know. It's possible they just got Bell's palsy because, again, that's a lot of people over a period of time. So they're not exactly sure. But nobody died because they took the vaccine. Or at least there's no data to show that. That would be like national news had that happen. And all these stories that they're talking about have been documented in New York Times and other things, but instead of, telling you the whole story, they're spinning it and giving you a scary headline version, to suit their narrative and to keep all these fucks in the chat happy.
Well, let me give you some real headlines. You know what I mean? Let's do this. 59 die in South Korea after flu shot. Pull it up. Okay, let's pull up another headline. This is just this week. This is this week. Here's another headline. There's so many of these. 47 homeless die after being given flu shot. Poland. These are all real headlines.
That's actually true, but you know what happened there? The Poland thing. It was a private startup company, and they got in big trouble for it in Poland. But you know what that shows? That shows that the health industry should not be privatized. This is why the government should handle matters of medicine. Because when you have a financial incentive to make something like that, when it's not backed by the government, it leads to people doing, absurd shit. It leads to things like Martin Shkreli buying the patent for a cancer drug and then raising the price by $60 quadrillion or whatever. That's what privatization of your healthcare system leads to.
I see this in the news feed, AP, Reuters, but it's never a big national news story. It's like they cover the fine print. Okay, we're admitting it, but here it is. And
I see it in AP, Reuters, but it's never a national news story. It's like, why? Those are pretty big fucking news outlets.
It just comes up and it comes up.
Yeah, he is. He's right.
Yeah,
Well, so I'm trying to find a Microsoft approved source because you love NewsGuard so much.
Oh, scroll down. CDC.gov.
I love Bill Gates.
You got to make sure it's NewsGuard.
I love Bill
Well,
Gates.
so I don't
He's
know
my
how
favorite globalist.
I actually had a plan for segueing into aliens.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to not get too serious. Like, we got to talk about this SCOTUS stuff.
Aliens are real.
But
But
And again, like I wouldn't even mind Tim having Alex on. I mean, Tim's an asshole anyway. He's a propaganda pusher, grifter. But if you're gonna have somebody like Alex Jones on, you got to push back a little bit. He made about 45 absurd claims. We're 30 minutes in. There's no way we're gonna get through this whole thing. But we're 30 minutes in. He's made about 47 absurd fucking claims that are easily fact checked. And Tim has just rolled with it the entire time. And the only thing he sort of kind of pushed back on was people are dying from the COVID vaccine. And he's just like, maybe some evidence. Like, you wonder why so many people are red-pilled.
But let's hit this. Why did today, or yesterday now, in Australia, why did they stop nationwide all their vaccinations, their government-approved vaccine, which is an mRNA vaccine that goes into your very DNA, because the people that take it are having false positives. They hope they're false positives for HIV.
Oh, God.
Now,
Not true. No.
So this is the New York Times, by the way, that Alex is citing here. Australia scraps COVID-19 vaccine that produced HIV false positives.
Wow.
Right.
And this is the T cell counts.
So that's what happened.
New York Times scraps vaccine that has false positives in Australia. Australia on Friday canceled roughly a $750 million plan for a large order of locally developed coronavirus vaccines after an inclination, or I don't know what that, whatever, produced false positive test results for HIV in some volunteer participants in a trial study. Of the dozens of coronavirus vaccines being tested worldwide, the Australian one was the first to be abandoned. While its developers said the experimental vaccine has appeared to be safe and effective, the false positives risked undermining trust in the effort to vaccinate the public. So again, they didn't scrap their entire vaccine program. They had one of dozens of vaccines do some false positives because they want to be extra safe. They decided to say, well, just, we'll use a different one.
Guys, I took a COVID-19 vaccine. That's why I had that positive test result.
Oh, hey.
Sure, Michael.
Of the dozens of coronavirus vaccines being tested worldwide, the one under development at the University of Queensland was the first to be abandoned.
$5 says he doesn't read
That's
fast.
the official
They
New York
rushed this
Times.
thing so fast.
But I gotta tell you,
They
in all
did.
Yeah.
Trump did. Trump
In
did.
all
It's
seriousness?
Operation Warp
No,
Speed.
I mean, I've said this. Trump's biggest thing is how he said, I'll unlock the economy. I'll warp speed it. And I tried to halfway try to figure out maybe he's trying to take control from the Rockefellers and from Gates, and he wants to have the regular vaccine that isn't as dangerous, that actually just takes the attenuated virus. And no, he pushed the mRNA. And I'm not turning on Trump now that he's in trouble. I've been
You're definitely,
criticizing
you're
him for
turning
months,
on him. You're a
8 months.
globalist.
The mRNA vaccine is a new form of vaccine. It goes in and reprograms the cells. It's a mutagen. Normally, you only have this in your body when you have cancer or when you're a baby in your mother growing. So this goes in and programs cells to actually mutate. And so I'm like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? This is insane.
Yeah, I know,
Ninja
right?
Turtles happened.
Well,
That guy probably makes like $100K a year, and his whole job is like, oh my God, what's going on? Tim, you're so right. Oh man, wow. But the reason that the vaccine got here quicker is because normally when it comes to vaccines, they take a small piece of the virus, and they put it in the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. It's a long, complicated situation. This, they take basically the mRNA thing is like a protein, and they can conform it to do different, to attack different things. Been working on something like this since 2003. So when they say, oh, this is rushed, that's kind of not true, because they've been working on coronavirus vaccines. They've been working since 2003. They've been working on like a catch-all for coronavirus vaccine, for coronaviruses. Because SARS and MERS, two other outbreaks that we've had, those were both coronaviruses. So what they did in 2003, what they started doing was, how can we make like a one size fits all for coronavirus in a vaccine. And while they had not created something like that yet, they've been working on it for all this time. But once coronavirus hit and they were able to examine that, they were able to come up with a vaccine a little bit faster. And basically, yeah, this mRNA thing, like this vaccine that we have doesn't have any of the coronavirus in it. It uses this mRNA thing. And it's actually a very cool, very, big breakthrough in science, but conspiracy theorists got a conspiracy.
It was actually
He's
the
a
Ninja Turtles
silent
was
hype man.
the chemical that was being shipped in through an alleyway that spilled into what's his face's eyes.
Splinter.
No.
Wait,
Baxter Stockman.
Murdoch. Matthew Murdoch, is that his name? Daredevil. So
You guys
So doesn't
understand,
have
though.
Always
You guys
mention
understand
Marvel.
that.
totally just off the rails.
Listen. Right now, as we know this, any of this you can pull up. Wolfgang Woodard is the head elected Global Commission EU science advisor. Like he's the good Fauci. He got with over 100 scientists. One of them was the former science head of Pfizer. They filed suit in the EU on December 1st and said, we've looked at the studies on the mRNA Pfizer.
Yeah, that chat, I was just looking back at the screen. The chat is a little big. Let me fix that. Oh, shit. Yeah. How's that look? Okay, I think, yeah, that looks better. Let me pull it down a little bit. Boom. All right, yeah, that's better. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tyler. I appreciate that.
Pfizer vaccine alone. And it'll either turn your...
I'll put some resources in the chat, or not in the chat, in the description after this, by the way. So if you guys want to check out any of the shit I've been talking about.
immune system off and drop T cells down to zero. There's these huge papers they attach. It's like, I don't know, it's hieroglyphics, but these are like prestigious scientists. Or it'll jack it up and cause a cytokine
I like
storm.
that better.
And it looks like it attacks the placenta in women because the same protein in this virus is the same protein that's fast growing in the placenta. And they said it looks like it might give people HIV. That was 6-7 days ago, dude. I'm not a scientist. I read the paper,
what the
and
fuck
6-7 days
about
later,
now.
it's in the New York Times that is giving people false positive HIV. So here's the deal. Fact check this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm scared.
Fact check true. Alex Jones does not know what's going on. Fact checked 2,000% true.
Let's play devil's advocate. If you have a vaccine that cures a potentially deadly virus and the consequences, like your AIDS tests, aren't going to be reliable for like a few months, is that really that bad of a side effect?
But why is it? Because the original, when the Indian scientist in March, late February, their main
Thanks for the
Indian
follow,
technical
homie.
institute, the only
Appreciate
Indian
that.
school, they got good scientists that bought the CRISPRs. It's worth billions of dollars. They have a multi-billion-dollar CRISPR gene editing
CRISPR is some
reader,
crazy
electron
shit.
microscope.
John
CRISPR?
Oliver
What's
did
a
a good
CRISPR?
piece on
It's
CRISPR.
Gene editing.
It's gene editing.
I
I don't understand. I read the stuff. They said, hey, this is a very dangerous chimera, 5 viruses, HIV delivery system. And they said it's not naturally occurring. It's synthetic.
Who said that?
This is the top Indian university. They said it's
Dude, look at all this money. Fucking 20, 100, 10, 5, 20, 20, 10, 20, 20. Fuck. I don't know why the chat's so short. They had 100,000 people watching. I know it's longer than this.
got gene edited P shuttle gene where they cut this in and they go, it's so complex, it's above anything we've even got. This is like secret level stuff. Of course, it came out of the U.S., Chapel Hill, Obama, Fauci 5-6 years ago. It was illegal in the U.S. They moved it to Wuhan. They even came out in Newsweek. You pull it up. Fauci funded, we were here last time. Fauci funded.
It's North Carolina or South Carolina.
Yeah.
Again, that's not true. That's another horseshit Facebook conspiracy that, oh, Fauci funded the Wuhan lab after what was it? The swine flu, maybe? What was the one? H1. After the H1N1 virus, the National Health Institution or National Institution of Health, whatever Fauci is the head of, started a global initiative like, hey, we're going to have another issue like this eventually. So what we need to do is we need to start having labs all over the country doing research and working on how to fight and effectively these coronaviruses or some kind of outbreak. And we funded not Fauci directly, but the NHI or NIH, whatever the hell it is, funded, what is it, the Eco Alliance or some UN type deal. Basically, they gave grant money. Basically, here's how it works. The US gave money to an international organization to fund labs throughout the world. They funded several in China, so it could have came out of Wuhan or one of the many other labs in China that we funded to do this research. It was a global thing, the globalists, I guess the globalists funded research to try to figure out how the fuck we should combat this. And that happened, many moons ago. And that's where that conspiracy comes from. Because they're like, oh, look, this grant is tied directly to Fauci, and so he funded Wuhan, so that means he knew about this virus, and he did this, and he did that, and then bam, we had coronavirus, and then he had sex with the pangolin and the bat. That's only funny if you've ever seen the South Park episode. Otherwise, you just think I'm fucking crazy right now. But yeah, that's horseshit.
Yes, secret illegal gain of function stuff, North Carolina. Fauci funded controversial gain
Alex
of function.
definitely doesn't know what he's
Wuhan
talking
lab.
about.
And so the Indians scanned it, then the Germans scanned
Guys,
it, then the
if
Australians
you could please
scanned
like
it,
the stream
and then
while you're
others
here, I'd
scanned
really
it.
appreciate
and I
it.
had Dr. Francis Boyle on my show today, the guy that wrote the U.S. Biological Weapons Law and helped write the UN Treaty.
Subscribe,
He's the head
maybe,
lawyer.
if you're not
He
subscribed.
prosecuted Slobodan Milosevic. He's like a head UN prosecutor. And he said, no, the Australians, he was just on Australian TV yesterday on their national TV, on Sky TV. They reverse engineered off the CRISPR scan and made this new vaccine. And so when they copied it and made a vaccine out of it, that's why HIV shows up. It's a copy of the COVID, which has been attenuated.
A bit esoteric for me.
Yeah.
I can tell you about just like
Solid fucking pushback, Tim. This guy's saying the COVID vaccine gives you fucking HIV or something. You're just like, well, it reminds me of a Marvel movie. Thanos had HIV.
the surface level. This one of the reasons why I think it's important to talk about the UK's warning on people under 16 and pregnant.
Because that's
women.
confirmed. That's not debatable.
But it's just to get people listen. This is an official thing. I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I'm trying to make sure exactly
Yes, you
what the
fucking
National
are.
Health Service is telling people. They're going to be proving it in the U.S. Take this up into consideration and judge for yourself. But these are official health warnings.
Why is the British government 1 week into giving the shot? 1 week into giving the shot, why are they suddenly saying under 16 don't take it? Have an
That
allergic
was
response,
always
don't
their.
take it.
It's under 18, but
Pregnant,
yeah.
don't take it. Why are they backtracking?
Because this is the trial. They're experimenting. This
Well,
is the
listen,
human
listen,
trial
listen.
right now. We're going through it.
Exactly.
But I think it's a little.
Shut up. I just love how Tim's like, well, it seems to me, and then Alex just bursts in, the goddamn globalist deep state is fucking human trials. We're going to have human pig hybrids, and it's all coming true, and you can fact check me, YouTube. It's just, what the fuck, man? Oh, God. Yeah.
A little bit of an it's not necessarily an exaggeration. This whole thing
it's a
was
lie.
rushed through to the point where we didn't go through years of trials where they could have controlled groups and
It's the
studies.
Russians.
Yes.
And what does Han Solo
No,
say?
they rushed it. So now
Remember Luke Skywalker
They
says,
didn't rush it.
At the rate they're gaining, with the Star Destroyers chasing them off Tatooine when they fly off from Mos Eisley, he says, hurry up. He goes, too fast, kid. You bounce off a star or supernova. That'll end your trick real quick. Wow. So we've gone at warp speed, and we've actually run into a supernova here.
Star Wars, man. So do you think aliens are real?
Yeah.
Yeah, smooth transition.
Yeah, Tatooine
Such a
is real.
smooth segue.
Listen, let's finish up. Because I butchered that.
No, we can talk
No,
about
you're
that
right.
now.
We need to calculate where we're going before we hit warp drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me. What was it? The original Star Wars, where they're like, if you warp from here, you might crash into something. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
he's like slow. He's
Luke's
like,
Let me tell you why the COVID vaccine is bad. It reminds me of this Star Wars episode or Star Trek, whatever the fuck he just said. Like, you know, I know like I don't know if they like realize, but they're just putting out like massive false information and scaring people into not getting the vaccine. You know, my sister is a nurse, and the place she works at, when they told them that they were all getting the COVID vaccine, she said half of the staff where she works said they weren't going to get it. Half of the staff, which is a very scary thing. And part of the reason is because it's become so political because of fucking people like this. God, and then, you know, and then they just kind of laugh it off like, oh, well, and then let me tell you about Star Wars. It's like, dude, you have a duty to like try to not put out false information. Yeah. And anyway, so yeah. By the way, if you guys could, you know, if you want to subscribe, I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So that'd be awesome. But all right, let's keep going.